Welcome to Awaken News. Tonight, have I got an unbelievable exclusive for you. Oh yeah. Tonight, right here on Awaken TV, I have an interview with COVID-19. I know it's 2021, but I've got the interview right here and I've got some notes. So first of all, COVID, welcome to the program. I'm so glad that you gave me this interview. Now, a little bit of background. You're obviously from Wuhan, China. No, actually, British, darling. No, I'm pretty sure you were created in Wuhan with wet markets, bats, or... No, not from Wuhan, China. British because of a thing called etiquette, darling. And you'll probably notice that, for example, in the hospital beds, we only attacked those who are in the greatest care. Like, I want you to notice, 95% of the people that died in ICU because we felt it wasn't British, darling. So it's just very important that I clear that up. Oh wow, okay, I didn't know that. All right, well, let's switch gears. What about the lockdowns and, dining out? Like what has been your protocol with lockdowns and dining out? Yes, the lockdowns and dining out. Well, let me just explain, where we're at with that. So, for example, walking into a restaurant, open slather. We'll attack you if your mask is down as you're walking in, open slather. But once you're seated, we have an etiquette that, no, far be it from us, that we should attack somebody who's seated and remove their mask. It's not that we can't operate under 5 feet, it's just that we, out of decorum, have chosen not to attack somebody once they're seated, especially if they're having a meal with family or friends. We won't attack them. It's just the way that we've chosen to operate. Well, what about, while lining up to board, you've got to be 6 feet apart, but I don't understand. No, airplanes are the same thing, darling. Look, obviously, while you're seated, mask on. And, we're ready to pounce. We're ready to pounce until those bloody stewards pass those nuts or those pretzels, what have you. Some people have nut allergies. The nut allergy does more damage than we do, but we're the ones getting all the blame in the media, aren't we? So anyway, once they open the pretzels and the mask comes down, again, etiquette kicks in because we're British, darling. So we don't attack them. Likewise, yes, you're right, when they're lining up out the front, it's 6 feet apart. Now, if they violate 6 feet, pounce. We'll pounce like a lion, like a leopard, like a tiger. We'll pounce. Obviously, once they're seated on the plane, they're only 4 to 6 inches apart, but now they're seated. And because we're not a Chinese who don't care about social distance, but we do, darling. We're British. They're seated. I know they're not social distancing, but we have etiquette, we have protocol, we don't attack them. I hope that makes sense. And likewise, for example, people sitting down at a cafe, masks we can attack until their beverage arrives. Once they have a beverage, whether it's a soda, and it doesn't even have to be a hot beverage. It can be a soda, it can be a whiskey sour. Now, obviously, if they got a coffee in their hand or a cup of tea, darling, we won't attack them because we have etiquette. We're British, darling. Okay, well, yeah, I guess that makes sense. All right, well, let's switch into protection. Protection. Masks. I have to ask, do masks protect people from you? Well, look, as far as surgeons go, yes, darling. I guess the surgeons who wear the mask in the operating theater are protecting themselves. So yes, I would say that masks do afford a protection because the last thing we want is a surgeon catching a broken leg or a ruptured spleen or a burst appendix or, God forbid, he should catch a tumor from the person he's operating on. Well, actually, that's not why surgeons wear masks. Let's be really honest. Surgeons don't wear masks in the operating theater to protect themselves from catching a broken leg or a ruptured spleen or a burst appendix. No, of course, you're quite right, darling. I didn't even think of that, of course. No, you're right. The surgeon wears the mask so that, no, you're right, so that the person on the operating theater doesn't catch the disease that brought the surgeon to the hospital in the
Well, actually, no, the surgeons are wearing masks not because, like, they're the ones who are healthy. So the person on the table is the sick person. They can't, the sick person can't catch.
No, you're right again. Quite right, darling.
All right, well, let's switch gears again. Vaccinations. A lot of talk, a lot of mandates on vaccinations.
Look, I think it's very, very important to be vaccinated. Very important to be vaccinated.
But the latest data shows that the highest rates of COVID, especially amongst the new variants, are amongst those who are vaccinated. What do you say about that?
No, you're quite right, darling. But look, even though they don't stop you from contracting COVID, and even though the vaccinations don't stop you from spreading COVID, it's very, very important, and the CDC will back this up, darling. The CDC will say it's absolutely essential that if you're unvaccinated, you need to take the vaccination to protect those who got the vaccination, to protect them from the virus. Because if you're unvaccinated, you can catch the virus and pass it to a vaccinated person who's not protected from the virus, but they took the vaccination to protect them from the virus.
Just got a couple, hang on. Like, so you're saying that the unvaccinated need to get vaccinated to protect those who got vaccinated, to protect them, because they're not protected unless I get vaccinated. Is that what you're... I'm kind of...
No, it's not confusing. Look, let me explain it. It's like a football game. Have you been to a football game? Well, at a football game, you've got the players on the field, and they've got the helmets, and they've got the padding. But inevitably, in every football game, there's somebody that ends up being hurt. And the reason that they're hurt is because the spectators in the crowd are not wearing helmets and padding. If the spectators in the crowd wore helmets and padding, then the players with helmets and padding to protect themselves from injury wouldn't hurt themselves on the field. But because there are people watching who aren't protected with helmets and padding, those who are wearing helmets and padding, it's really quite simple, darling. I can't believe you're not following this. It's very simple. Get the vaccination so that those who have the vaccination to be protected, who aren't protected, can be protected even though it doesn't protect you. Quite simple, really, darling.
No, you're not making any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Actually, you look quite familiar. I feel like have I met you before?
Actually, yes. We met almost 2 years ago. I had you.
No wonder. That's right. We met. Yes. Well, that makes sense. No wonder. I've actually been trying to pounce on you the whole time that we're here, but you've got that bloody immunity. No wonder I haven't been able to get through. Natural immunity.
That was our interview with COVID. I hope you enjoyed that. God bless you.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, darling.